LoreWarrior Aerotech, the Union X. Until recently, the only dropships produced at the Schiphol Company of Skye were of the massive Overlord class. The corporate board had long considered diversification of their dropship arm, so the announcement in 3062 that Schiphol would be building a variant of the Venerable Union came as little surprise. What was unusual about Schiphol's plans was that they intended on building an extended Union, now abbreviated to Union X, that would remove the cubicles for a lance of mechs in favour of an additional aerospace lance and berths for 5 squads of battle armour troops. The Fedcom Civil War disrupted production of the Union X, but the first vessel was certified spaceworthy in December of 3065 and assigned to the Sky Jaegers transport wing. At Duke Robert's request, subsequent ships have likewise been assigned to Sky units, notably the Tamar Cavaliers, though the recent calming of the military and political situation in the Alliance may soon bring a challenge to the Duke's control of these new dropships. Whether Sky will surrender the vessels or not will be a test of the relative powers of the Duke and the Archon, a confrontation that will likely determine the region's future. Sadly, not as much written about this one. It's a military spheroid ship. Its uses as a combined arms assault transport, obviously Innosphere tech, introduced in 3065. It masses at 3,700 ton and has a battle value of 5,997. It's 85 metres long, 82 metres wide, and 81 metres high. It has 200 tons of fuel, and it burns 1.84 of those a day. Its safe thrust is 3, and its max thrust is 5, with 120 double heat sinks for 240 in total, structural integrity of 12. It has 190 points of armour on the nose, 180 on the sides, and 179 on the aft. Cargo-wise, it can carry 5 squads of battle armour in Bay 1, 8 mechs in Bay 2, 4 fighters in Bay 3, and Bay 4 can carry the cargo, which is 273 tons. It has 5 escape pods in total with no lifeboats, and its crew is 3 officers and 12 enlisted and non-rated. It has 180 rounds of LRM-20 ammunition, about 30 tons in total, 80 rounds of Gauss ammunition, 10 tons in total, and 400 rounds of Ultra AC-5 ammo, 20 tons in total. It mounts 38 tons of ferro-aluminium armour, and its weapons are as follows. The nose has 2 Gauss rifles, 60 rounds in total, 2 LRM-20s with Artemis, 2 ER-PPCs, and 2 ER large lasers, rounded out finally with 4 ER medium lasers. Its front left and front right have 2 Ultra AC-5s with 200 rounds, 2 LRM-20 with Artemis with 60 rounds, 2 ER-PPCs, and a further ER large laser and 2 ER medium lasers. And finally, the aft rear and aft left have 2 ER large and 2 ER mediums, and the aft has 2 ER large and 2 ER mediums. Much like the Merlin before, assault dropships were definitely the in thing later on in Battletech's writing. I guess trying to fill the gaps where some of the warships would have originally been. Well equipped, obviously, for its size. It's got a fair amount of fire, can reach out and touch somebody. With some of those ER-PPCs and Gauss rounds, it's got plenty of LRMs to boot for anti-fighter duty. Looks-wise, obviously it just looks like a Union class, but it's got more gun. Has a hell of a lot more gun, actually, all around it. A far more deadly proposition, I think, for anyone to encounter. Mechs especially, I think, would have a lot of trouble just because of the side equipment alone is fairly deadly. If you go near the front left or right side of it while it's landed, you're still looking at having an Ultra AC-5, an LRM-20 of Artemis, an ER-PPC, an ER large, and 2 ER medium, 2 ER medium firing at you, which is pretty significant for a single target to be hit with. Not sure if the aft weaponry are also in that mix, but if they are, that's also a couple extra ER large lasers. And obviously the thing with dropships is they can handle the heat. So they've got no problem firing all of that every single turn, basically. It's also just a nice little bit of information there about the fact that, as usual, with the Sky group within the Lyran space, they're always looking for their own little gains. I'm actually surprised they never just made it that Sky just became its own independent mini-faction for a long time. They certainly had the capability of being able to do it. I guess they just never wanted to pull the trigger on that particular part of the narrative. But, yeah, it's sadly, it's not a long one. There's one of the problems with Technical Readout 3067 is they have some interesting like designs and stuff, but they just got a bit lazy with the writing, unfortunately. So it's just not as much as there could have been, which is sad because I think they could have at least come up with what, you know, something that happened with one of them during the Fedcom Civil War or a little bit after, you know, those conflicts that still happen when the war is officially over, but they're still mopping up, or there's little holdouts here and there. Could have been a great little write-up of the Union X's capabilities, or possibly how they were deployed after the war against the clans, something like that, but just get a pretty ho-hum short write-up, which is a shame, as I said. It's an interesting one as well, because clearly it's trying to be a kind of multi-role vessel for forces, being able to carry, obviously, a bunch of battle armour, some mechs, and having some fighter support. You've got an interesting little thing there, and it also is kind of the perfect starter dropship for a late-era mercenary company. You know, one of the things that you would probably save up for would be getting hold of one of these, because for the players, it's a thing where if they're buying battle armour, they've got a dropship that's specifically designed to carry a bunch of them. You know, you've got 2 Lancers, a mechs, and a Lancer fighters. It's not bad. Plenty of cargo space as well, in a well-armed package. And as far as an assault transport goes, it's pretty damn good. So, yeah. That's the Union Extended. Don't know why it couldn't have just been called that. The Union X. I always hate when it's like X at the end of something. Like, X sounds really like late 90s, early 2000s. Kind of like, yeah, this is, you know, this is the X Zone. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's really like the XFL that Vince McMahon made, or it's like Revolution X. It's like kind of like, it just sounds really cheesy and awful. I think it would have just been better if it just been called the Union Extended, or if it just been called like the Union Upgrade, Union Refit, any of those kind of things. Union Transport, or just the Union Assault Transport, so the Union AT. Maybe that would have worked a bit better, but whatever. I mean, somebody liked it, somebody wrote it, so there we go. Anyway, have a good one all. Thanks for listening. As always, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.